In this video, we're going to learn about Mergesort.
Actually, a merge is probably one of your highest risk maneuvers.
Well, I don't know about that. If you're nervous, I can give you some good reasons why we're going to look at Mergesort. For one thing, it's going to have the fastest worst case performance of any of the sorting algorithms we've looked at.
So as tense as it may be, you've got to learn how to merge.
Yeah, that's the spirit. So here we have a diagram showing what a typical merge sort looks like. We start with the unsorted list at the top in that shade of red or pink. Then we split the list. You can see that the list is first split into 4 values on the left and 3 values on the right. Then each of those lists are split. We keep splitting the values until we're down to just single values themselves, and that's right in the middle of the diagram here with 38, 27, 43, and so on, each in their own box that's colored gray.
The bottom line is that you have to prepare for a merge.
That's right, we haven't actually done any merging yet. We've just done all this splitting. In the top half of this chart, all that stuff in red and pink, that's the splitting. In the bottom half, where we have these shades of green, that's where we start merging the lists back together again. And when we do merge those lists, we make sure that the merged list is in order. So the very first values that we're going to merge are 38 and 27. So we're going to compare those and see which one's less and put it into our newly merged list first. And then we're going to put in the 38. We're going to do the same thing with 43 and 3. And then when we go to merge those two pairs, we're going to look at the first value in each list. We're going to look at 27 and then 3 and say, oh, 3 is less than 27, so we'll put 3 in first. Then 27 in the left list will be compared with 43 in the right list. 27's less, so it goes in next. Then we compare the 38 in the left and the 43 in the right. 38 goes in next. 43 is our last value, and so we put that in. And all I've been talking about here is just that list of length 4 on the left. Here's what it looks like in motion. We split the list, split it again, keep splitting until we have single values. And then we compare values, pair them up, make sure we put them back together in order. Each sublist that we create and merge, we're going to ensure that it's in order. And then we merge those lists. So 2 pairs become a list of 4, and 2 more pairs become another list of 4. And then we merge all of that together, and finally we have our sorted list. We're only comparing those smallest 2 values each time to see which next value should go in our list. Mergesort is a divide and conquer algorithm. We're dividing up the lists into smaller lists, and we're conquering each division separately. Here's what some Python code might look like for Mergesort. If the length of the list to be sorted is less than 1, then it's obviously already sorted. 1 or 0 items is in order by definition. But if not, we're going to grab the middle item of the list. I believe this is just a round down after division, this double division slash right here. But basically, we just want to get either the middle value itself, if there is such a value, or 1 less or 1 greater. It doesn't matter too much. This syntax here you might not be familiar with. This is just saying that we're going to grab the first half of the list and then the second half of the list, the left side for L and the right side for R. And then this is also a recursive sorting algorithm, much like quicksort was. We're going to merge sort the left list, and we're going to merge sort the right list. We create these 3 index variables right here. We start them all off at 0. These are going to index into the left list is going to be used for I. The right list is going to use J right here. And then our original list that we started with that we're sorting is going to use the K index right here. Not the best variable naming in my opinion, but this is how they did it. I also don't care for this comment. What's happening in this loop right here is the merging. We are merging the split lists back together. What's guaranteed is that our left list L is sorted, our right list R is also sorted. But we're not sure if we're down at the level of single values, like a list of length 1, or if we have the half of the total list that we started with that we're merging back together. So what we do is we compare the first value in each of the sublists, list L and list R, and we see which one's smaller. And then we copy that value into our original list. So if the value on the left is smaller, well, that's the one that gets copied in. And if it's the value on the right that's smaller, well, that's the one that gets copied in instead. And then we increment the corresponding variable so that we're not checking that value again. And then every single time we're going to increment the variable of our outer list, sort of our original list, so that we're going to place the next value in the next position. Finally, if we've finished with that, this part right here is actually just finishing off our merge. If we have any leftover elements on the left, then those values are going to be just copied into our original list, array k. And then if there are any extra values remaining on our right list, we also just copy those in after we've checked to make sure that the values on the left are less and the values on the right are greater. One more important thing to note here, back up at the top, you see these two lines of code. These two lines are the lines that make it so that merge sort is not in place. Remember, in place is a property of sorting algorithms that basically says, do we sort the values that were given in the list that they're given, or do we possibly copy them over to a new list? And merge sort is actually the first algorithm that we've seen that does have to copy these values over to new lists. So we copy over the values on the left into L and the values on the right into R right here. Let's look at the other properties of merge sort. The big and important one is the time complexity right here at the top. This funny notation is the big O notation, the order notation. So what this is saying is that merge sort is order n times log n, which is, we've seen that before. Quicksort's best case time complexity is order n log n. But quicksort has the issue of choosing a good pivot with which to split the values up on. And merge sort doesn't deal with that sort of randomness because merge sort just goes ahead and splits the list based on the location of the values, not a particular value in the list. So in all three cases, those three cases being worst, average, and best, merge sort's time that it takes is n times log n, where n is the length of one of the lists. Now, where merge sort is not quite as good as the other algorithms we've looked at is in the auxiliary space that it uses. The other ones that we've looked at have been big O of 1, constant extra space, usually just copying possibly one or a couple values into a temporary variable. But merge sort's actually going to copy over approximately the whole length of the list into a duplicate list. So if you think of the total space used as being your original list, plus a whole extra list, it's 2n, but big O notation is going to ignore the constant, so it's just order n. The algorithmic paradigm we talked about is divide and conquer, which should make perfect sense based on if you understand what it looks like and how that splitting occurs. We're clearly dividing up the list. Is the sorting in place? Well, we just mentioned this. No, it's typically not in place in your regular implementation because we are going to copy those values to these temporary lists. In our code, it was L and R. And then is it stable? Is it going to swap two values that are equal and right next to each other? No, it's not going to do that. So it is going to be stable typically.
Prepare for a merge well before you're actually ready to merge.